So take us to that that 10-second knockout. Talk to us about, everything that led up to that moment for you.
Yeah, that was actually it was the day after I turned 11, and it was my first boxing match.
Wow.
Yeah, I just remember I threw a double jab and step back, and he came in. I threw a check hook, and then he kind of it rocked him, he wobbled from that, and then that's when I jumped on him until the ref came in and stopped it.
Wow. I mean, that's something that I would imagine, more mature fighters have that sort of finisher instinct. But as an 11-year-old, you were like, it's time to finish them. Is that something your dad taught you, or was that already kind of inside of you and it was instinctual in that moment?
I mean, I think instinctual in that moment, to be honest.
Wow.
Some people have it, some people don't.
Yeah. Wow. Is that something you think you can train?
I think you can train it to a certain extent.
Right. Right. And so, your dad introduces you into all these different martial arts. Was there a moment where he said to you, you got to take boxing further. This could be your thing, or was that very much something you discovered for yourself?
No, I think it was my dad. He always, believed that, one day I was going to be world champion and I was going to be the best. Wow. So he's always pushed me in my training to become the best.
Wow. And then what was that like for you? Early on, kind of balancing, school and obligations with your training?
It wasn't easy, for sure. I remember when I was little, in elementary, I'd have to wake up 5, 6 in the morning and train before school, then go to school, then come home and change and go to the gym, and I'd be there for 3-4 hours and go home, sleep, wake up and do it again. And that was just my whole life as a little kid.
This is the life you've known since you were a kid. So, I mean, no doubt you're feeling, were there elements that you were surprised, you didn't necessarily feel as prepared for as you entered the pros, or did you feel like you already had the formula?
I felt like I had it down packed for the most part, because I trained with a lot of different world-class pros and different people, and then my dad's been training me to fight like a pro since I was an amateur. So I mean, obviously, because I'm 17, I'm still young, there's still a ton that I have to learn, but for the most part, I was pretty well prepared coming in.
Wow, amazing. What were some of your biggest inspirations as a young boxer, and how are they different or the same from kind of who or what inspired you now?
Honestly, my dad was one of my biggest inspirations. That he's the one that, kept me in it and, kept me motivated to keep doing everything. And if it wasn't for him doing that, I don't think, I'd be not a boxer right now. I might have just, picked a different sport or something like that, like all the other kids are doing.
Right. And were there boxers that, really stuck out to you when you were in kind of your early days that you would watch and learn from, or were there fighters your dad said, hey, we got to watch tape of, this fighter? Who were they?
Yeah. My dad, he likes all the old school people. So he would have me studying a lot of Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard. And one of his favorite fighters were Hector Camacho. So we'd watch a lot of those guys. And some of my favorites growing up and still now were Floyd Mayweather and Roy Jones. Also Andre Ward. So.
Right. Wow. And, tell us about your journey signing with, speaking of Mayweather, you're signed with Mayweather. How did that come into play?
Well, I started training with Jeff Mayweather. That's also one of my trainers. And just from training at Floyd's gym, I guess, after a while, just word got around about me. And one day I was training, he came into the gym, and that's how we met up. So we just started talking like that. Yeah.
Just like that, hey?
Yeah, just like that.
What did that mean to you? Was that something that was just, you were just like, holy shit? Or were you just cool, calm, and you kind of knew that moment was coming? How did that feel?
It felt great. I was definitely just him coming into the gym while I was in there that one time, had me starstruck, oh gosh, that's Floyd. Because that's someone that's been one of my favorite fighters since I started fighting. And even now, just the fact that like I really am signed to him, signed to his promotion, and I can pick up the phone and call him whenever. It's still crazy to me.
Yeah. And were there any moments where, Floyd gave you some advice or, some insight that impacted you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. He definitely gave me a lot of great advice concerning boxing and a lot of different boxing knowledge. He actually cornered me while I was sparring once, so I learned a lot from that.
Wow, that must have been an incredible experience. What were some of the things you noticed that Floyd did cornering you that stood out from what you'd experienced before?
Well, he's just like some of the advice that he was giving me. Like just thinking back at it, it's the same things that he used to do when he fought. So he was telling me to do it, and me and him, I kind of have a similar style to him. So I was able to pull those certain things off that he was asking me to do.
Yeah, amazing. And to be able to do that for like someone who is a childhood hero is probably a pretty amazing experience.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd love to know about your experience sparring, some of these like world-class prospects. Like, tell us about your sparring experience in general, because I'm sure you're getting just some of the best looks.
Yeah, I've been able to travel around and spar a lot of different great world champions like Gerard Ennis. I say he's probably like the best person that I've been able to work with. I've sparred him a couple of times. Sparred Chris Eubank.
Wow.
Andrew Tabiti, a lot of the upcoming prospects and champs now, like Brian Norman Jr. Sparred a lot of different people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's been great. I've been getting a lot of good work, and it's good to see all those different styles and get to learn from all these different great champions.
Yeah. And so how would you compare sparring like some of these, some of the high level amateurs, like, local guys like Japji and the pros like Leonard here to some of the guys that you've been getting looks from at TMT?
They're good. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's just different looks. So that's why I spar with so many people, because I like to get different looks. That way, when I step in the ring, I'm kind of prepared and we're ready for whatever. I noticed that down here, people they just have like a lot more fight experience, since the boxing world is bigger in the U.S. than it is in Canada.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think guys are they get a lot more fights a lot earlier in their careers as well. Do you often dip down to Mexico to get some more sparring as well?
Mexico, not really. I mean, I've fought there, but I don't really go there for like training or sparring.
I suppose at this point, like with who you have around you, sort of that next level environment, you don't really need to go too far, that it's all kind of right at your back door.
Yeah.
So talk to me about kind of what your training looks like right now. Like, you're not officially in camp, am I correct?
No, not really in camp right now, but honestly, even though I'm not in camp, like I'm still always in camp. You know what I mean? Even though I'm out of camp, I still train twice a day, 6 days a week. You know what I mean? That's just me. Like I'm always training and staying ready for whatever.
So walk us through kind of like what a a typical week, staying ready but not necessarily in camp would look like for you right now.
I guess it just like depends on where I'm at. I do a lot of training with my dad. Like I'll either do training with him or do regular boxing stuff, whether it's bag work or sparring or anything like that. And then later on, I'll do like my strength and conditioning and running and things like that.
What kind of S&C training are you doing at the moment?
It depends on the day. I switch it up. I try not to do the same thing every time, so that way my body doesn't get used to doing the same thing over and over again, just constantly working on new things and working on different muscle groups. Okay.
Interesting. And then what about your nutrition, the component along with that? How is that for you? Do you have someone helping you with that, or are you sort of just, used to doing it for yourself?